Today, I had to go to the chiropractor, and it really got me thinking about one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. So, today, for about the past 10 days, I've been feeling this like awful pain in my neck. Um, it started before the motorcycle thing. So, if you saw that, it was not because of that. It started before that. That probably didn't make it any better. But I'm the type of person that I don't know if you're like this, but I'm going to try everything, number one, that I can on my own before I go to the chiropractor. I am going to make sure that it's not going to go away. I am going to get on my inversion table. I have a bulge disc, so that inversion table has came in handy since 2019, to be honest with you. And I have been using every single thing that I could, every tool that I have. I have this like cervical, like rubber thing that you like lay on your neck. I have a cervical pillow. I have so many things, right? And so I've tried all of these things. I put in all the reps for whatever I could do, exercising, walking, standing up to work, laying down. Like I've done everything. And 10 days later, I'm like, I can't, I got to go to the chiropractor. So I walk in and my chiropractor's like, it's my fault you're here. I'm like, okay. It's been a minute, I admit. And so I said, you can tell me that about it when, when you come into the room that I'm getting put in. And he comes in and he goes, well, sometimes like I think about my patients and then they magically just like end up in here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it is your fault. Because I had no plans of coming in here today. But anyhow, way back when, probably like 2019, I realized I had a bulge disc. I had an MRI. Ended up having a lot of other problems and found out I had to have surgery because they found cysts on my ovaries. TMI, I know. Anyhow, this was supposed to be a 3 to 5 day max recovery. And it ended up not being that. It ended up being like, what is wrong with me? Why is this happening? Actually ended up, it was outpatient, ended up having to stay a night at the hospital. Just all these things that I didn't expect. Nobody prepared me for. And so I thought, I'm going to be out, not going to be visible for 3 to 5 days. And after that, I'll be fine. But let me take you back because in 2019, that is when I decided to coin and found the domain for thevisibilityqueen.com. And I purchased the domain in August of 2019. The surgery was the end of November. And probably about mid 2018, this is when I decided to be really consistent with being visible. And when I bought the domain in 2019, the first thing I said to myself was, do you really have the audacity to call yourself the Visibility Queen? So much so that you are going to buy this domain and start walking around and calling yourself the Visibility Queen on your own. And I'll never forget my coach at the time said, yes, you are. Because at first, it's like if you watch Game of Thrones, when Daenerys walks around and calls herself the Queen of Dragons. She calls herself the Queen of the Iron Throne. Like she has all these names and she has to announce herself and she has to say who she is until eventually she doesn't, right? Eventually people start knowing who she is. But when I purchased that domain, I had set a precedence with myself. I made a decision. Okay, I'm going to be the Visibility Queen. So I get to show up like her. And I am so thankful that I had the audacity to do that, even though no one knew who the Visibility Queen was. Because if I would not have done that, that 3 to 5 day recovery for that surgery, I was out 8 weeks getting blood work done, trying to figure out what's wrong with me constantly. But if I had not had the audacity to put myself out there and say, I'm going to be the visibility queen. I'm going to show up every single day and I'm going to show up like her, right? Even though I'm not her yet, I'm going to show up like her. That 8 weeks that I was out feeling like crap supported me so strongly through those 8 weeks that I was laying on my couch feeling like crap, trying to recover, couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, crying, whining, whatever. I was in extreme pain. And I am so thankful that the girl 4 months prior had some big kahunas and said, we're doing this. Because that, buying that domain, as silly as it is, that $12, $10, whatever domain, created a ripple effect. Because I'm not going to own the visibilityqueen.com and not show up as a visibility queen. I'm not going to buy that domain and go like, see ya. I'm not going to buy that domain and not put in the reps to become who I said I wanted to be. And I had no idea back in August that there was going to be a surgery. I had no idea that I was going to be out more than 3 to 5 days. I had no idea. But the thing is that I had launched my first evergreen product around the time that I had the surgery. And because of my visibility, because of putting in the reps, because of that ripple effect of saying yes and having the audacity to buy that domain, I had my first ever $2,000 launch. And it blew my mind because I wasn't visible for 8 weeks. It was the ripple effect of everything that I did and everything that I had that I repurposed. And that literally set the ripple effect of me being able to create other programs, to actually be where I'm at today. But if I didn't have the audacity, if I didn't have the delusion, if I didn't have the, wouldn't this be crazy if I called myself the visibility queen thought in my head, if I was like, no, I can never tell anybody about that domain. I have to show up. I have to be her first. I have to come into my power before I can like put that out there into the world. What would I have done? What would have changed? What would have been different? I don't know. But I know I had big shoes to fill by saying I purchased the visibilityqueen.com domain. And now I'm going to work on becoming her. I'm going to put in the reps to become her. And that ripple effect created my first ever $2,000 launch, created a launch when I was literally healing from a surgery and couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, when I was out for 8 weeks, showing up sporadically, but able to show up consistently because I had all that content that I could repurpose. Again, I had no idea that was going to happen. But that is the most beautiful ripple effect that I can share with you today to show you what this can do for your business, what a ripple effect can do for your life, what a ripple effect can do for those around you. And I cannot wait. We're going to do this program. We start tomorrow. We have a call Tuesday and Thursday, and it is $22, $22.22. And that $22.22 from each person that purchases it is going to help Helene hurricane relief efforts. And you also get that $22.22 as a credit towards any of my programs before the end of 2024. So it is a win-win. We get to start a ripple effect like right when you say yes to purchasing this program, because that purchase is going to help someone else. That purchase is going to be donated to help someone in North Carolina, Tennessee, those areas that are really struggling because of this hurricane that came through when they got unexpected downpours and destruction that they never expected to get. It all starts with you. Even if you don't say yes to this program, even if you decide not to do this program, Where can you start having the audacity to creating a ripple effect in your life, in your business? Where are you holding back? Because guess what? Actually holding back, playing small, also creates a ripple effect. It creates a ripple effect of playing smaller. It creates a ripple effect of not taking big chances and risks. It creates a ripple effect of letting fear win. And I think we all have seasons where we let fear win. And you get to decide, when am I going to stop that kind of ripple effect from happening? I don't want that ripple anymore. I want to create a new ripple. I remember doing this diet back in the day. It was Dr. Sears, maybe, I don't know what it was called. But anyhow, he said, you're only as healthy as your next meal. Meaning if you screw up or you eat something you're not supposed to eat, just eat healthy in the next meal. And this is the same thing I can tell you. Maybe last week or yesterday or today, you let fear win and you didn't do the thing that you really wanted to do, that you're really feeling called to do, that could create this massive ripple effect. Stop the ripple effect of letting the fear win and replace it with taking the action through courageous actions. The fear's still there, but we can overcome it with courage. Thevisibilityqueen.com. I wasn't the visibility queen. Not even close. But I stepped through my fear and had the crazy audacity and delusion to know that I would become her. And it gave me my first ever amazing launch. I mean, $2,000 was like a huge win for me back then. And so I want to challenge you to create a ripple in your own life, whether you join this program or not. Create a ripple, not a fear ripple, a courageous ripple, a confident ripple, an audacious ripple, an uncomfortable ripple. Because when you push through that discomfort, that's where the magic at. That's the ripples that go so far outside of you. That's the ripples that people may not even they may not even know you, but they're like, oh my gosh, are you that girl that did 100 lives in July? Are you that girl that did 200 lives in July of 2021? Like, are you that girl? Are you that person? Ripple effects can create more visibility. Ripple effects can create more people knowing who you are. Ripple effects can make so much impact and influence. It's like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I will see you tomorrow at 1:30, I think, or on the replay for day 1 of the ripple effect, because it's time to stop being scared and stop letting fear create your ripples and push through and play bigger. Because the bigger you play,